So, good morning, my name's Matt Jardine. I'm going to be introducing you to Shiatsu, really. I'm going to try explain a little bit of what I'm doing. This is Frances, by the way. Frances is one of my oldest, not as in age, but as in she's been with me a long time, patients, I think we'll refer to her as. And I'm going to introduce you to Shiatsu, but I want to take out the sort of flowery, esoteric bit. I think that Shiatsu is as useful for a builder, for example, who's hurt his back, as useful for him as it is for someone who does yoga 3 or 4 times a week. So I want to try and find that balance. Without giving you too much detail, because it is, although it's an instructional film, it is, this is a real person, so I don't want to give all her details. Frances has come to me with various things. Initially, we started working with a bad shoulder. We've had other hip issues and some issues with digestion. So today, pretty much, we're going to do an MOT. It's her birthday, so we're going to give her an MOT, a body MOT, and just see what's going on. So. I'm just going to leave you for a moment, tune in to what we call the hara, which is this central area, and find out, have a feel, to find out what's going in the body. I'll explain a little bit later, but I need to do this first. Okay, the hara, this central area, is one of the most important parts of Japanese culture. I tell all these guys that I treat know this. And essentially you have to always treat it with the utmost respect, because obviously physically it's very, very gentle, but also it houses everything. It houses our spirit, so the Japanese believe, houses our center of gravity, most important organs. Obviously the heart's a little bit higher, but everything else down here. And so we must always treat it with absolute respect. And in karate, for example, all of our kicks, blocks, all of our power comes from the same area. Now that first thing I did is literally, you feel around different areas, different parts of the hara, of this central area, signify different parts of the body. So for example, this area will work on the stomach. So we get a feel, and we're feeling for the general quality, tone, and energetic quality of this whole area. Now, I'm looking for 2 things. I'm looking for a thing called jitsu, which is too much energy, and a thing called kyo, which is too little energy. And then I'm just going to try and balance them up. Techniques of movement like this, I think logically you could see for yourself, well, they will be the sort of techniques that help to unblock stuckness. Anything, if you imagine something stuck a door, you wouldn't just stand there looking at it, you'd probably try and open it a few times. So we have here, I know Frances has already mentioned today that she's got a little bit of stuckness in her hip. As she's walking, she can feel that. So we're just going to gently rotate to encourage the hip to move. We never force in Shiatsu. We don't force the issue. The body will change when it's ready. We just facilitate that change. You all right? Is that pressure all right?
Yeah, I can feel the tightness, but it's...
You feel that? There's no sharpness when we go around though. Okay. Coming out of this central area, we have what we call meridians, lines of energy, I guess. I don't really like the word particularly energy, but that'll do for now, that come out and go all the way through the body. So for example, coming out of the stomach area on the hara, the meridian, the line of energy comes all the way through the hip, which Francis already said hurts, all the way down the leg. So we're going to treat the whole meridian rather than just one part of it. Because if you treat one area, you must treat another to establish some sort of balance. Is that all right? Mm-hmm. The areas that I'm pressing are called, well in Japanese they're called tsubos, or we will know them as pressure points. Martial arts strike the pressure points to establish obviously discomfort. In Shiatsu we press them to encourage this flow of energy. If you look at it from a sort of more Western medicine point of view, pressure points lie over junctions of nerves and collections of nerves, and by pressing that area you get a much better effect than pressing somewhere which hasn't got many nerves in it. How's that feeling there? Feeling it? Each one of these meridians, these lines of energy, have a number of levels to it. One is a physical level, the other is mental, and the other is, we call it emotional rather than spiritual. So for example, let's imagine the shoulder. If someone comes to you with a shoulder complaint, let's say they've had an argument with their partner, I don't know, all sorts of stuff. They've been arguing for months and months and months, going through a divorce, something like that. That amount of tension, that mental tension, will show up in shoulders that are up here. I don't think that, I think it's fairly obvious. So sometimes a physical problem can be due to a mental cause, okay? Here, this is just physical. Frances walks a lot. She doesn't drive, she walks a lot. She's on her feet a lot, and sometimes when you walk a lot, your hips, once you're past 21, can occasionally get a little bit stuck and jammed. So there's nothing more complicated than that. Frances, are you asleep on me? Can I ask you a question?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
Is, would you say, is Shiatsu painful? Can it be sometimes?
Yes, I don't think I have ever experienced excruciating pain, but if there is a lot of tension in the area, so for example, if my shoulders have been very tense and knotted, there have been occasions when you've worked on that area and it's sore, but not to the point that I can't bear it. Mm-hmm. And there are some times, like just now, the lower part of below my knee, towards the ankle, some of the pressure points there are not very tolerant. But again, it's nothing. It's a pressure. It's not It's discomfort, it's not sharp pain.
Mm-hmm. Have you also had that experience of sort of how do you describe it? A wanting pain? You know, that almost achingly nice pain where you're treating and it hurts. There's something in you says this should hurt,
oh, yes,
but it's sort of and more, yes. in an odd way.
That's very apparent with the shoulders because you can feel the tension in them, and you can feel it when they're being worked on. And so, although it's uncomfortable, you know that it's active. You can feel it actively breaking down the knots.
Have you had regular massage, as it were, sort of aromatherapy massage and, you know, naked body massage, if you like, skin to skin? What would you say are the differences between them? I mean, from your own, just for your own feel or preference or whatever.
Well, I've always had a preference for. I mean, I have had aromatherapy, but not much. And I've always had a preference for strong Swedish massage, you know, very sort of deep tissue. What's the difference? I think I always feel when I come out of this that it has in some way, apart from dealing with whatever problem I've asked for, that it also affects my energy levels and my mood. So I have probably a longer feel-good factor than I do with Swedish massage,
right.
which is pleasant for that period of time,
right.
and may also help to, you know, break down knots if that's what you've been doing, but it doesn't last.
So it's actually that at this point I'll explain to you watching that as you can see, and this isn't because we're on a film, Shiatsu is treated with clothes on. You're always fully clothed. The reason for that twofold really. One, remember Shiatsu is Japanese, so it comes from a culture where nakedness is fairly taboo unless you're married. So that's one thing. So they can't quite get their head round the whole naked massage thing. But more importantly, or from a more energetic point of view, when you touch just skin to skin, your attention stays on the skin. So massage, for example, will stay quite literally skin deep. Now what Shiatsu is trying to do is treat the energy that is at the source or the heart of the skin. So therefore, you want to remove your attention from the skin and have it go deeper. Let me show you this. This won't break the treatment up. If I'm treating here, and if it's just skin, for example, I will just treat the top and it will be a sort of temporary measure. However, if I'm on further up here, my attention now isn't that bothered about the skin, and I can push deeper and deeper and deeper, and I can get through more layers until I get to the source energy, which is the energy that creates everything in the body. So that's pretty much why we work with clothes on. This technique here shows exactly how, you know, I said earlier that there are meridians all the way through the body and one area affects another. This shows that, look, just by working the feet gently. Look at Francis' neck and head move. I think that shows quite obviously that you cannot affect one part of the body without significantly affecting another, which is why we don't, for example, treat just the hip or just the back or whatever they come with. We don't just treat that area, we treat everywhere, because there is a knock-on effect all through the body, and that must be accounted for. This is one of my favourite moves. That's a good point though. And Francis will know this, we've had loads of